Hello everybody and welcome back to the Mosquito build. Let me give you a little bit of an update of what I've been up to. I've prepared here the engine mounts for the electric engines. I'm still not sure how I'm going to do that, but that's something that I need to be doing. A big concern at the moment is that there are these huge propeller hubs that give it the characteristic huge look for the Mosquito, and I've no idea at the moment how I'm going to do it or if I'm going to be able to do it, but that's at least progressing there. I've started to cut out the ribs and I already have like 4 ribs in place. At the moment I haven't glued anything in because I think I'm going to have to take it apart again to make sure everything is square and fit, but I have already the main spar, I think I showed you that already, and the rear spar kind of in place. Ribs are going in place, testing if they fit or not. One thing that I do also whenever I finish a piece, I take a little bit of scrap wood of the same width and I try to slot it in through the gaps that come here, right? So to make sure that it's going to fit. It has to be snug, but not too loose at the same time. So that's the progress so far now. And one more thing that I'm doing that it's a big headache, at least for me now. I've started to prepare the upper stringers. This is going to be the rear of the fuselage, and that's all well and good, and it actually shows that they have to somehow stick in to the basic stringer somewhere here between E and F. That's the instructions, but that means that I'm going to need to make an adaptation. I'm not sure if it can be seen at the rear spar level. I'm going to need to make an adaptation there, and it's not drawn in, so I'm not sure exactly at what height, so I probably will have to kind of guess it a little bit and put in maybe 2 millimeters of a cut in there and see how it's going to go. I've already put in a block at the end which indicates the height. It's not a dihedral, it's the same approach as with the dihedrals, but it's not a dihedral, to make sure that it gets to the same height. So I'm going to, everything I have already now in place, at least from the rear spars and the ribs. I'm going to have to take it apart, make that adaptation, and then I'll continue with the ribs. I'm going slowly with the ribs, 2 at a time, and then let's see if I manage to build up. I intend to build up the ribs gradually up to rib number 7. So I started with 13, 12, 11. Rib number 10 is a curious animal because it's actually, let's see if I can show it to you. This is rib number 10, which is on top of the engine nacelle. So that's a very strange animal. Then 9, 8 and 7, and up to there I'm going to leave it, and then is when I'm going to try to test assembling the hinges for the, well, not the hinges, but the moving horns for the ailerons, and also putting in the connecting rod that's going to move it. So I'm going to have to fix already where I'm going to put the servo, probably somewhere here inside the cabin or the cockpit, and then connect the rod. I want to do it with one single rod that will come from here, move this horn, go through here, through a hole in the servo, and then come out the other side. And hopefully it's the same rod that actually moving both ailerons at the same time, somehow like this, in this direction, or this axis. And then once I have that in place, then I can go ahead and start to design the ailerons. The ailerons are also going to be challenging, like up to rib number 7. From 13 to 7 it's okay, but then I'm going to have to cut ribs 6, 5, 4, 3 and 2. I'm going to have to cut, and I'm going to have to build in the aileron separately, so that's also going to be quite time consuming, but it's still a bit until I get there. First of all, as I say, figure out how to put in here then the upper stringer and continue with the ribs. So a brief update and a change in plans. So I wanted to continue with the building of the wings, but for that at some point I would need to fix in the rear spars. Now the rear spars go stuck to the rear part of the fuselage. So to be able to do that I needed to build the whole rear fuselage, and that's where I am now. So I've already built 2 formers, 2 fuselage formers. I'm building 2 more, and each of them is made out of 3 pieces, and these are just the upper formers. Then there will be also the lower formers that I'll do them later, and I'm going to have to build a whole rear fuselage part in order to be able to put in the rear wing spars, and also the rear or the trailing edge of the main wing. I do notice that there are some inaccuracies either in my tracing or in the plans or in my cutting, because even if it's just like 1 or 2 millimeters off, then things don't actually match up together. Again, this is where the laser cut models actually are very good, but still I think it will still be doable. Complex as all the other things, as you see, that's the formers coming together. I put even the letters so that I don't mix them up. I still have to make one more, that'll be K, that'll be the round one, this one, and also need to make this piece that goes in here, which somehow fits in here in the middle. So hopefully I can put that together, and then I have done the whole rear fuselage together with these other formers, and I can actually glue it in, because so far I haven't used much glue, and I can glue it in, and then based on that then continue with the building of the wings and the wing ribs. So here's the progress so far. I've put together the rear fuselage together and glued it in, which was not easy, but it's kind of straight, so it's good. And I'm preparing also the ribs for the wing. They're still not glued in because I still need to glue in the spars, and I need to do maybe some adjustments, some strengthening of the spar, because I've done some cuts in there so that it fits well. And now I'm preparing the spars, and the next big spar I have to prepare, which is a very interesting one, is this one, which actually forms also the engine nacelle. So I would say it's the most interesting rib that I've ever done. So let's see how it goes, and I'll show you then when it's almost ready. So I thought I would do a bit of an update before I start to glue things in. What I've done now, I've drilled holes through each of the inner ribs. These are ribs 13 to 7 on both sides, left and right. And I've put already the wire through, and I've bent it in place to make sure that it has the right length. Now I'm a bit... The problem that I have here is that if this goes wrong, then I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fix it at some point. Like normally I say everything is fixable, but at this point I'm not sure if this is going to be fixable. What I've also done, I've connected the hinges that I've done before to ribs number 7. I'll show you this. So I've put them in there, and this is where the wire will be pulling. I'm putting a little screw. I probably didn't need to do that, but I wanted to see how it goes. Some glue and a screw. And now what I am going to do, I'm going to bend up the wire to hook into the screw, into the hinge, or the horn. I think it's called a horn. And then gradually fixing all the ribs. Now the ribs, I have tested them several times and I have had to adjust quite a lot. Ribs number 10, I had actually to do bigger modification. I don't know if you can see it. I could have done new ones, but I got lazy. On both they were somehow wrong when I drew them or when I traced them. And that's it actually. So let's see how it goes. I've got already here the horn for the servo. I put it in here because I won't be able to put it in later, will I? So it's already hanging there. Then I have to figure out if I have to put the servo a bit further forwards or further backwards. It doesn't really matter if it's upside down or not, because it's just about the orientation. So let's see. And then, so once I do that, then it will be the ailerons, which will be another big challenge. So I'm not sure actually how I'll do that. I might actually prepare the full wing by cutting the ribs that are somehow here within the aileron. I might cut them and then try to finish off the wing before I go and build the aileron. The aileron I might need to build. So let's see how, well, I do need to build. So let's see how that goes. A lot of very detailed work. Time flies with this. I don't know how many hours I have on this. Let me check. I have it here. I've got a timer for this. So let me check. If I stop it, I see already 19 hours. It doesn't look like much, does it? Well, let's see. I'll keep you posted. So just a brief update. So the inner spars, the inner ribs are in, and the horns are there also. If I move the wire, the horns do move, which is good. Here's the wire, but a bit stiff, so I'm going to need to probably oil it or maybe make the holes a little bit bigger, but that was a task, it's over, I have to plan then the next steps. So a short update on the progress. So as you see, I've already cut out and put in the remaining ribs. I haven't glued them in yet, but I've put them in there, and now I'll be preparing also the leading edge and the trailing edge. I've decided that what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually put in the leading edge and the trailing edge and glue it all in, and then I'm going to cut off, saw off somehow the aileron. So I'm going to then cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ribs on each wing, and then build the ailerons based on that. So that's going to be the approach that I have. I'm still a bit concerned because this movement of the wire is still a little bit stiff, so I still have to see how I'm going to fix that. Each rib takes me anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes, so slowly each day doing maybe a couple, maybe three ribs or 4 ribs a day, I managed to progress. So that's so far the progress on this. One thing that I also realized, if I take the top part of the main spar that I did wrong, this would go in here. I don't know if it can be observed. So I should not have put in this huge rib until after putting the main spar. I think that's how it was designed. I didn't realize. In any case, I'm not sure how I would have done it, because I still needed to make a hole in the rib for the wire to go through. I suppose maybe just a slit there would have been better. Now I'm not going to take it all out because it's all glued in, so I'll probably be cutting off the front of the rib, putting on the spar, then putting it back on, and let's see how I can reinforce it. It's going to hold the engines, so I hope it's going to be true and straight and strong enough. So let's see. So now the next steps are actually going to be to take the tracing from the leading edges, leading edge, left leading edge, left trailing edge, right leading edge, right trailing edge, and cut those out and hope that they fit in. I might need to do some trimming also of the ribs, but we'll see how that goes. That's also going to take me probably the next couple of days at the speed I'm going, but stay tuned, more to come. So this is the progress so far. So I've done one of the leading edges and I've managed to put it in. Now instead of cutting according to the plan, what I did, I first of all cut the edge, and then the notches for the ribs I drew them on and then cut them off directly, because in case you don't notice, it's all a little bit crooked. Let me take this out of the way. So a lot of the ribs are crooked. This one is crooked a lot, but it's the same on the other side, but they're not quite straight. So I think I can live with it, but it's not the most beautiful. But for the leading edge, I presented, I put it in, and then I marked where I wanted to cut so that it actually fits. So that's, let's see if it focuses. Yeah, and that's how it is. I've also put in a leading edge support piece here, which actually it comes from here. That's the shape, and I've put it in there. Also, I still haven't glued it. I'll be doing then the other leading edge. That's going to take a while also. At least an hour's work goes into this, but it's fun. So I'll wrap it up here before this gets too long and boring. So thank you everybody for watching. Please check also the other videos if they're interesting. It's somebody building an airplane. It's not maybe the most interesting, but then you see how complex it is, and it's fun. I do recommend it. So thank you, as I say. Check out the other videos, like it, comment it, give me some tips and tricks. I do need them, and see you next time.